Ah, welcome everyone to a beautiful Friday. Listen, have mercy on yourself. Oh, yes, have mercy on yourself. How so? How do we have mercy on ourselves? By always remembering the law. Always. Not just remembering it, but knowing that we are always in alignment with it, right? Because sometimes we go through things and we forget. Truthfully, because we're busy, right? We're busy living. But remember, you and I are always in alignment with the law. Always. You can't not be. So when you have any kind of a situation, remember that part. Remember, oh, you know what? I'm always in alignment with law. Now let me be deliberate. Let me be deliberate. Let me be deliberate. Why? Because when you become deliberate with the law and focus and polarize yourself, you reduce your suffering. I'll say it again. You reduce your hardship. You genuinely do. Of course, Angela, it doesn't look like that from the outside. It might not look like that right that instant, but that's what you're doing. That is exactly what you're doing. Because if you think about it, what happens to us when something happens and we sit there and we ruminate and we ruminate and we fret and we worry? Literally speaking, you're torturing yourself with your thoughts by trying to figure out all the worst case scenarios that could possibly happen. And because we are always in alignment with law, what do we do to ourselves? Mm, mm, mhm. So have mercy on yourself by remembering that you and I are always in alignment with the law. And all it takes is for us to be deliberate, which means know exactly what it is that you want and point yourself in that direction. How do you point yourself in that direction? By putting your attention on the desired outcome, as opposed to complaining about the thing that is happening now. It's okay to, because like I say, we go through it and we fret. Yes. But when you fret, remember, let the fretting be the reminder that, oh, whoa, 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 I know how it's going. How do I want it to be? This is the way we have mercy upon ourselves. That's the way we have mercy upon ourselves, by redirecting our thoughts and becoming deliberate. You see, the law is always on, but it is us who stop being deliberate. Well, think about it. We've been doing something a particular way for the longest time. And that becomes the deliberate thing because it's on autopilot. But we don't want to live our lives on autopilot unless we are the one to put in the autopilot destination, which means you must be deliberate day in and day out. Oh, it seems like a lot of work, does it? What's the alternative? What is the alternative? The alternative is to just float on through and, well, whatever happens, happens. No, be deliberate. And we become deliberate when we look, even before we get out of bed. Be deliberate about the day. That's where we start. Be deliberate about the day. Hear me. When we go through things, that is not our cue to beat ourselves up. Oh my God, how did I fail? How did I? No, that is not the time. Trust me, it is not the time. There is no time for that. None whatsoever. When you go through it, look at it and acknowledge it so that you can do what? figure out where you want to be deliberate. That is what our focus is. That is where we put our attention. We put our attention squarely upon where we want to be at and what we want to be doing. That is how we better serve ourselves. That is how we actually have mercy on ourselves. Because look at how easy it is, yeah? Because we've practiced, mind you. Look at how easy it is to fret. You're being deliberate in your fretting. Hello. You're being deliberate in your fretting. And all that is required, because the law is always on, is your deliberate attention. That is all that is required. Because the law is always on and we are always in alignment with law. If you remember nothing, remember that. You are always in alignment. So you will naturally think, which is mentalism. You will naturally correspond, as above, so below. You will naturally vibrate because everything moves, nothing stands still. You will automatically polarize. You will either be one way or you'll be the other, but they will be the same in their nature. Love and hate, same in their nature. Hot and cold, same in their nature. Why? Because it is only the vibration that separates or differentiates so you can see where you are. And in that polarity, you will begin to form a rhythm. Naturally, an ebb and a flow. So when you get your downtime, you're in the ebb. And in the ebb, what are you doing? Building strength. So now you see why you must be deliberate intentionally. And from that rhythm, you will be caused to bring about an effect. And from that effect, you will project. Projecting is masculine. And whatever accepts the projection is feminine. You see, here's the thing. Because we are human and we have personalities, I mentioned this last night. Because we are human and we have personalities, we want to give a personality to things that are inanimate. Well, invisible then, not inanimate because they are moving. Nothing stands still. So then people talk about quote unquote God. We think it's a person. And we project our personalities onto it. When in actuality, it is an observation. So when you project, recognize what you're doing. Oh, you should be this way. Oh, you should be that way. Oh, blah. And I do it a lot. Let me tell you. Hey, glass house. But your role is to be deliberate. That is your role. Do not assume the role of the law because I'm sorry. We are wholly inadequate. Why? Because the law governs everything. We can't even govern ourselves on most days. Can you imagine having to do the job of the law? We are not adequate. But where we are supreme is in our deliberate intentions and behaviors. That is what you are called to be, supreme at. Having the ability to focus. When you practice that wholeheartedly, that's where now you begin to have mercy on yourself. you have mercy on yourself when you withdraw your attention from the undesirable. Listen, if you have eyes and they're working, you're going to see the undesirable. But why are you seeing the undesirable? So you can deliberately choose the desirable. That's why. We live in a world of causation. It is not a world where we live to blame. And listen, we blame ourselves, don't we? So have mercy on yourself. Stop blaming yourself. Stop trying to figure out, oh my God, where did I go wrong? No, you don't have to figure out where you went wrong. You need to observe the action that you took. And when you observe the action that you took, decide, is it good enough? Or can you redirect? Can you be more deliberate? This is what I'm saying to you today. There's a season, there's a time for everything, according to Ecclesiastes and the law of rhythm. There's a time for everything. But then we look through the lens of the law instead of looking through the lens of our past and what has happened to us. We become more deliberate because we're not living from a place of, oh, you did this to me, so, I'm not going to trust you. Look through the lens of the law. What caused you to put yourself in a situation where you had your trust broken? You're not asking yourself that question so that you can judge yourself and beat yourself up. You're asking that question so you can deliberately choose where to be at next time. And when is the next time? As soon as you make the decision, which is when? Now. This is what it is. Have mercy on yourself. Right? Don't be fretting about the mistake you made. You see, that word, it's a mistake. So what can you do? Take it again. Take the new thing again. So you're not missing an opportunity, right? You're not missing to take an opportunity, right? So for that to happen, you've got to check yourself. You've got to have mercy on yourself. And as I said, we all go through things. All of us go through things because we are here. We're here. So we feel it keenly because we're in bodies. So we feel it. Right? But remember what your body is there for. For you to use. But how are you going to use it? Deliberately. So remember to have mercy on yourself. You're going through it. What are you going through? See it now, sure, because you're right there and you're honest with yourself. It is not the time for you to say, my God, again, why me? Damn you. Yeah, see, this is what we do. It might seem dramatic, but check yourself and you'll see. Sometimes when I do it, I catch myself and I'm like, damn, girl, you dramatic as heck. Now, is this what you want? Is this your best use of being deliberate? And I'm like, okay, so where do I want to be? And I end up laughing at myself because, I was acting a fool. I went yesterday and I had a slow leak in a tire. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, I could wait for my daddy. And I'm like, but I went to Fountain Tire. I happened to be driving by and something said, go there. And I said, okay. And I went. And so I walked up to the open bay and I said, hello. And nobody answered yet because there's music playing. They couldn't hear me. I said, hello. And sure enough, this tall young man turns around and He says, well, hello, how can I help you? I said, I seem to have a slow leak in my tire. Is it possible to have somebody put some air in it for me, please? And he says, well, if you pull up to bay number 9, I'll send somebody. I said, oh, okay, thanks. And the guy comes out and he's unraveling the hose. He goes, man, this is my worst nightmare, to come in every morning and have a tangled hose. And I said, well, I said, I did see that. And he says, I will check all 4. And he did. He did. He checked all 4 and he filled all 4. And he says, if you have any trouble, come back. And I was like, okay, thanks. And I had been watching that tire, for days, since last week. And I was like, Angela, come on. What are we going to do here? This will not do. Oh, you have to drive, you poor thing? Oh. And I said, fine. And I had to run an errand. And I was just moments from them across the parking lot. So you see, I told you that to tell you this. We are always in something. Right? We're always in something. Sometimes I fret and I say, why isn't anybody paying for narrations? And then I remembered people are on strike. And I said, oh, okay. Well, strike doesn't matter to me. I've got to stay deliberate and focused. Because no narrations, no bills are paid. So you see, 2 options always. Assess and become deliberate. Because I look back, it was only a year. I look back and I see my life where it was last year and the pain and turmoil that I was in physically and how it affected my boy. And so I decided something has to change. I cannot continue to behave in this fashion. So now, even if I feel a sliver of pain, I say, I say no. I say optimal health now. I don't care what kind of pain it is. I say optimal health now. I can clearly feel the pain. What do I want? This is what I'm telling you. We all go through it. But because we go through it, that is not our cue to berate ourselves. When my child acts a fool because his body is raging with hormones at 14, I have to be patient and remember and redirect myself so that I can better redirect him. And I hear people say, you need a man in the house. And then what do? I start hearing all the statistics about how bad single mothers are for children. Yeah, I hear that. And I say to myself, girl, come on. Do you know the law, or are you going to believe in statistics when they can be altered? But the law cannot be altered. So I look at the situation and I say, okay, what needs to be done? How do I want this to go? And then I have to correct my own self. I do. And I have to listen to what he's saying to me. And I have to respect it because he's a sovereign being. And after we have a talk, he'll hug me. He says, Mom, thanks for hearing and understanding. He goes, some of the kids I talk to, their parents don't even give them a chance to tell them anything. They just demand what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do. But they don't give them a chance to talk. He says, I appreciate that. And I'm like, aw. I'm like, if I had this kind of direction at your age, I would have been leaps and bounds ahead of the world. But I have to make that deliberate choice. Because believe me, sometimes I want to reach out and put my hands around his neck. But I don't. Because I recognize where it's coming from. It's coming from the outside world. Because I allowed the outside world to penetrate my mind and impregnate me with its way of what they think is best. So you see, have mercy on yourself. Have mercy on yourself by being deliberate. That is your task. Oh, but you make it seem so easy. You mean all I gotta do is have the right kind of intention? Not the right kind. Have the intention you wish to bring about. That's the right kind. That is the task you've been given. Your task is not to figure it out and run the whole world. No. Your task is to be deliberate about the effect you want to experience in your world, so that from that deliberate behavior and thought and image, the law has something now and will bring about the cause. That is your task. Always a state of mercy. And we think mercy means, oh, just stop beating up on me, please. We think that's what it is. When in actuality, the mercy that you have upon yourself is to always be deliberate in your thoughts, so that the word out of your mouth is deliberate, and then your action is deliberate. That is how you have mercy upon yourself. Let us take a moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space. Indy was here on Twitter, but she's back at work now. And so the replay gang will be all here for Twitter. And Fanbase, hallelujah. We have Fanbase up and running again today. We've got Flo Smiles, my Melanin, Miss McQueen, Yolanda, Zola. Oh, and Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome to the space. YouTube and Facebook. I don't know who's on Facebook, but welcome for the replay gang. I can't see everybody there. And for YouTube, who's ever made themselves known in the chat, we've got Sherelle. We've got Goddess Pure Diamond. A not hello. The Better Man. Cyber Shea Butter. Oracle Treehouse. Miss McQueen. She's omnipresent. Oh, I love it. Hello, David. Those are all the ones who've made themselves known in the chat on YouTube. My foot's asleep. Let me stretch it out. Hello. But to recap, because I shan't keep you long. The longer I keep you, the less time you get to practice. And that's what the purpose is. You see, we are always in alignment with the law. What are the laws, in case you're new to them? Mentalism. The all is mind. And what does a mind do? Well, the mind is aware of itself and it thinks. And that's what you do. That's what I do. The law of correspondence. As above, so below. And like the handy orange, as within, orange juice, without, in your glass, you know? And vibration. Everything is moving. Nothing stands still. Oh, it looks like it's not moving? That's probably because it's moving real fast or real slow. And the way a thing moves will tell you where you are polarized. Are you on the left or are you on the right? That's the difference with polarity there, yeah? Polarity, something is on the left and something is on the right. But the thing on the left and the thing on the right are exactly the same in their nature. It is only the vibration of the thing that tells you where you're at, hot and cold. It is the vibration that will tell you if you're hot or you're cold. Are you fired up? Well, if you recognize, if you drive anywhere in the winter and you watch the river, steam is coming off the river. You put your hand in that water, it will burn you, but it is ice cold. When you put your hand in fire, you know what happens there. You'll get burnt as well. Outcome is the same. They are the same in their nature. But it is the vibration that alerts you to where you are. It's not about two things that are different. But that movement in between the poles, the movement in between the poles brings about a rhythm, a way to move that is recognizable. It is predictable because that's what rhythm is, day and night and day, ebb and flow, high tide, low tide, full moon, quarter moon, half moon, rhythm. And the rhythm will cause you to behave in a particular way, which will bring about an effect. And that effect, well, look at that. Then you've projected something masculine, and whatever you've projected it into is feminine, and it comes back. So you see, the law is always working, and you are always in alignment with it. But your task, y'all, our task is to be deliberate in the desired outcome that we want to experience. That is how we have mercy upon ourselves. Right? That's how we have mercy on ourselves. Hold on, y'all. I only have my Tibetan bowl out this morning. Welcome, Ayapo, to membership again. Good to see you. And Kalisha, welcome as well. I see you. Marjorie, hey, hey. So you see, have mercy on yourself. And the way to have mercy on yourself is to be deliberate in your thoughts so that your word and your actions are exactly what you want them to be, what you want to experience, how you want it to turn out. That's the power you have, the power to bestow mercy. Indeed. Indeed. Right? I know. I know. I know sometimes the tribulations. I get it. I get it. But that is not a cue to forget. A tribulation is not your time to forget. It is time when you must remember. I got an email this morning and she said to me, Angela, you were right. They didn't ask me. And I said to her, but you do know you brought that about, right? Because when you told me that you were worried about it, I reminded you of what you wanted. She got back to me. She said, yeah, well, it was an instant message. And she's like, yeah. I said, well, then, did you or did you not do it? She goes, well, I guess I did. I'm like, you guess? I said, what was the outcome you wanted? She goes, well, I didn't want to work that double night shift. I said, and did you work the double night shift? She said, no. I said, you were afraid, though. She said, yes, I was. I said, but your intention was stronger than your fear. I said, that's what you need to take note of. She's like, I did it? And I was like, well, I sure didn't do it. I was like, I didn't work a double night shift, and neither did you. So one of us did it. And I said, it was you. I said, you had to put that intent out there. You had to choose what your desired outcome was. She sends me back these, like, because in Facebook, you can do the little floaty hearts that come back. And that's how I started off my morning. By seeing that. And so you're supposed to be excited about these things, to see how you can change your outcome. Be excited about it. Why are you excited? You are excited because you know the law, and you know you're always in alignment with the law, which means you got peace of mind naturally. You got confidence naturally, right? You got boldness naturally. That right there. When you do that, you are most effective. The more deliberate, the more effective. Yes? So that's your word today. Ah, hello, darling Jeff. I see you. But that's be deliberate about how you live your life. And that is what brings about the mercy in your life. And you're having mercy upon yourself because you're not allowing yourself to be tossed to and fro. You're not allowing yourself to be beat up by the currents of life. We cannot stop life. Why not? Because everything is moving. That's why you can't stop it. You can't stop it, but you sure can be deliberate about it. And it is in that deliberate behavior that you end up being merciful unto yourself. And a funny thing that when you practice mercy and deliberate behavior from the inside, I wonder what kind of person that makes you on the outside. Hmm. You become merciful. Well, how so? You begin now to comprehend a situation when you come across it. You comprehend who people are. You comprehend who people are. And then once you've seen their projection, you understand? Once you have seen their projection, then you know how to behave. Right? Then you know how to behave. And you behave according to law, not according to your feelings and emotions. Or you interpret those on the fly because you're in a body and you have this feedback loop. It's just telling you what's going on so that you can be deliberate about the outcome you choose to experience. That is how we have mercy upon ourselves all day, every day. And no, I'm not just saying it to you. I am also alive and I also remember. So I have to practice also. Be deliberate and you will automatically have mercy on yourself. Right? This is how we live deliberately so that we can be most effective. Ayapo says, I'm trolling you, baby. I'm working. But that is your word today. I shan't keep you. So it is Friday. Yay. And let us go out into the world. Because remember, we are in it, but not of it. How are you not of it? How are you not of the world? Well, that has a double meaning. The double meaning, if you're not, think about that for a moment. You are in the world, but you're not of it. And in both ways, they have to do with your awareness. See, I'll touch on this. For those of you who were here with me last night, you know what I'm going to say. Because I've been narrating the book of John, the secret book of John. And In the secret book of John, it explains to you the origins of reality. As I mentioned to you before, we are persons, so we think everything is a person and has a personality. But when you understand or comprehend that there's no words you can use to describe something you know nothing about. So, the way the book of John explains it, quote unquote, God, it says the Father was surrounded by light. So, if you use the law of correspondence, you'll know that you are surrounded by light. As above, so below. You are surrounded by light. And from that light, something emerges. What is it? The thing that is surrounded by light is just there. It's just there. But then it becomes aware of itself. And because it becomes aware of itself, now it acts. Did 3 things happen or did 1? When you look in the mirror, you see your reflection in the mirror, but then you also see yourself do something. Are there 3 or is it just 1? See that? That right there, if you would ponder it, you would begin to grasp the vastness that is not just you, but the vastness of consciousness itself. It was just there, sitting, moving, but moving so fast it looks like it's sitting still. And then it saw itself. It said, oh, well, this is me. I am. And then it did something. But it didn't just do something willy-nilly or random. It did something deliberately. So you see, you must be deliberate. I must be deliberate. Yes, Cyber, your world is of you. Yes. That's what, that's the other part of being in the world. You're in it because, well, we in it, the thick of it. But because you know how to be deliberate and you practice being deliberate, you're still in it, but you're not bound by it. You're not bound by it. You recognize your consciousness. You recognize what you're capable of doing. And so that is how you become more deliberate. I know that seems a little bit far-fetched, but use the law and you'll understand it, comprehend it. That's what you'll do. As above, so below. You are in this body and you become, when you see a baby and they pop their toes in their mouths, it's the cutest thing, isn't it? They're becoming aware of themselves. They're becoming aware of themselves. Well, they're becoming aware of their toes, but they're becoming aware. Right? That's us. Becoming aware of what? Well, lots of things. What we're capable of doing. So don't stop and think, oh my God, that's real. That's not possible. I don't think that can happen. That is not it. What do you want to happen? What is it that you want to experience? So begin by telling your body what you want to experience, which means you got to act it out for your body, act it out, that inner conversation. And when you act out that inner conversation, the more you act it out, the more real it becomes to the body. So then the only other option left, cause and effect, right? Every cause has its effect. Every effect its cause. So the more you act it out for the body and play it out for the body, you think you're playing. Then in actuality, you're simply rehearsing how you're behaving. Because when the thing comes upon you and you experience the thing you were deliberate to create, you say, oh, what a coincidence. How synchronistic. Nah, it's the cause that you were doing and showing your body and being fully immersed in it that brought about the desired effect. It wasn't magic. It is law. So practice, my beautiful friends, on a daily basis. Roll up your sleeves and go, let me see what I can do. Let me see how powerful I am. Let me see how bold I can be here. That is your power. Because if you think about it, you can rely upon the law, can't you? It's morning. So the law did what it said it was going to do. Daytime. And when you yawn finally, as your head hits the pillow, you go, oh, look, there's the law again. There's the rhythm of day and night. So you know the law is reliable. It's not going to fail you. So do the thing. Do the thing. If you want to hear the bowl, pop on over to YouTube because that's where we'll be. So Flo Smiles, my Melanin, Miss McQueen, she already there. Yolanda Sola. Thank you all for being here and for being so patient with fan base. Right? Because shoot, we could be Clubhouse. Oh, I digress. That just slipped out. Anywho, I love you all, fan base. I'll see you over on YouTube if you so desire to experience the taste of the bowl this morning. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Fan base is closed. Jeff, you know what I've been doing. I've been leaving Twitter open as I play. As I play the bowl. Right? I don't always know how it comes through on the other end. So, but that's what it is, Jeff. Thank you so very much for being here on this lovely, lovely Friday. Let me pop over here and get the bowl so that we can all hear it. Yoda Burger, baby, you are just in time to hit the bowl. I trust you can hear.